Welcome to our video series for Fundamentals of SQL. In this video number 2, we're going to work on expression with left function. Again, this is Sherry Hutchinson, and we'll use the voice of John Hutchinson.
So let's create a new query to practice on. Again, we're using sales order, sales orders example database. So let's type in use by pressing tab. We get sales orders example use. So we have our database, and just give a little space to ourselves and go to line 3 and write select. We're going to select the first name and the last name. From customers. Let's run this with the F5 or so we have our first names and last names. Let's do a couple things here. Let's create initials for our customers. Call the column initials. And let's change the name from cust first name, cust last name to just first name and last name. So we're going to have first name, last name, and an expression, another expression called initials. John Smith would come out to be, his initials are J and S. So let's do the simplest things first. Let's get rid of these pesky brackets. Let's call this as first name, as last name. Now we're going to add our expression, so we're going to create another column. So let's put another comma at the end. Now we're going to use a function called left. The left function, just like Excel, looks at the left side of the string or a name. So if you have a name John and you say left and you tell it to, then you tell the function or an argument in the function that you place in the function how many letters you want to extract from the word John. Let me give you an example. So let's say, so let's write it out. Left, that's the function, okay, and it handily tells us expression, okay. Then it wants the number of characters as an integer, okay. So you have to tell it which column or variable you want to execute this function on. Of course, it doesn't know, of all your columns, which left, which variable, which column are you talking about. So we want to tell it we want to tell it cust first name. Then we want to tell it how many of these characters in this customer first name starting from the left, and is an integer or a whole number, how many you want to bring back. And we want to bring, for initials, we want to bring only one back, right? Now, a function like left, or any function, it would be defined as it brings back a number or a value. A sum function generates a sum. All right? An average function generates an average. A max, you're going to bring back the maximum, and so forth. Those are functions. So that's how you can define a function. Okay? So within the function left are what's called arguments. And there's two arguments in this left function. The first argument is cust first name. And the second argument is 1, which tells you, starting from the left, how many letters I want to extract. And that's 1. Now we're going to add the first letter of the last name. So left, and then we're going to have cust last name. Then we also want 1. And we're going to call this initials. Okay? Now let's hit this and see what happens. So we're pulled the first name, the last name. And again, we have to tell the function to use this because this is what SQL recognizes in the table. First name, last name, that's just column headers that we're going to call it. So let's execute. And as you can see, we have our columns, first name, last name, initials. So William Thompson is WT. Thank you.